is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
Topic I have grazed over in other videos but have not done one pertaining to it, surprisingly enough considering I even have done a video on Bigfoot, is that of the Bermuda Triangle. Now considering that I spent a few years living right alongside the Bermuda Triangle, I can offer my insight as well as the analysis of my, well, I guess you could call it cosmic awareness. But one cannot discuss the topic of the Bermuda Triangle without also including the anomaly on the opposite side of the world known as the Devil's Seas, for they are both connected to the same event that causes both anomalies and are actually side effects of a much larger scenario. I say this now as I am more sure of this topic than I am of some others I have covered. With that said, I shall now begin delving into the cosmic force that causes these mysteries. To do this I shall take your imagination back to the first microseconds of the moment of expansion we call the Big Bang. The visual illustration here playing on the screen is a render of the Big Bang event. Now, as that finite explosion of sudden fusion of the first particles caused a type of cosmic backdraft similar to that which occurs in fires compacted with no air or room to continue its gradual expansion. When the boson energy was introduced and the first particles formed the photon particle field, the effect of sudden mass expansion occurred. You see, the material had already been present for the universe's beginning to occur. These raw particle materials that had no charge or even the capability to fuse anything due to the process you undergone that led to their presence before both time and space had formed. This process was caused by multiple points within the already formed universe. Within the universe, in various points throughout its existence, these particles had fallen into the vortex gravity well of black holes. These particles whipped around within the vortex, unable to reach the escape velocity needed to clear the gravitational force within the vortex. Despite the mathematical belief that gravity is infinite within the vortex, that theory is not accurate. It only seems that way because we cannot comprehend the functions that occur beyond the event horizon of a black hole. That assumed inescapable gravitational force can be overcome by reaching 2.7 times faster than the speed of light. When these particles do reach these speeds, they exceed the gravitational force within the vortex and then shoot out the relativistic jets from the event horizon's center. Many things happen at this moment that lead to the particles reaching those speeds and achieving the necessary escape velocity to exit the vortex well of the black hole's pull. For one, as soon as those particles bypass the event horizon and back into space, the extreme speeds strip the particle of all associated fused particles attached to it, as well as stripping it of any photon energy that maintains and allows fusion to occur in the first place, leaving a raw shell of the singular nonlinear particle devoid of any photon energy. Basically it becomes antimatter. The moment it transitions to an antimatter particle, its presence within the universe filled with matter causes an explosive reaction which produces what we have detected for quite some time but never understood its cause or purpose, known as fast radio microwave bursts, or the black and white static you get on a TV screen, but more popularly talked of lately of being spotted in various telescopes constantly. These quick flashes of light are produced the moment the particle is stripped and becomes antimatter. However, because the particle is moving at such extreme speeds, surpassing the fabrics of light speed itself, those particles exceed the very boundaries of solid particle mass, like a roller coaster car flying off the tracks, unable to maintain its grip to the tracks, causing the particles that achieve this to become scattered across the primordial void of space before time came into being at the moment of expansion caused by the fusion of particle mass. What caused the fusion of the first particle? Well, that's somewhat simple. The same way the particles ended up there in the first place. An object of unknown origin and unknown point in time that, like the particles, had exceeded the threshold of the speed of light, ejecting it from the boundaries of space and time by defying the laws of solid matter and the speed of light. This object, whatever it is, would have to be made solely of the photon-based energy that fuses particles together, called gravitons, or is it quarks? I'm not sure, but whatever it may be, it would have to be an object already within existence somewhere. This object could be the consciousness of a living sentient being, so the possibility of God is still neither proven nor disproven. It also could be an object designed specifically to achieve this purpose also. The source of this object, be it a star or sentient being whose consciousness can exceed the boundaries of time and space, are inconsequential at the moment. For it strays us off topic, I'll leave that task to some arsehole like Michio Kaku or Aaron Ra, or maybe even Dark Matter 2525 to figure out. Someone who would take pleasure in holding the power to destroy thousands if not millions of people's belief in living for the greater good of their entire species in the palms of their hands, believing it to be their sense of duty or responsibility to do so. I am a man of faith, and the source of that faith has been kind and good to me, so my sense of honor, built by that structure of belief in the greater good, refuses to betray him in such a manner. So moving right along, the moment of expansion caused huge chunks of congealed solid matter to expand outward in every direction, which eventually settled to form the stellar fusion of galactic centers. But these galactic bodies shared a common source between them, and those shared sources' energy patterns are connected to each other through what is called the cosmic web. Every galactic body moves through the universe along these web networks that is comprised of gamma wave and ion-charged particles of photon energy known as neutrinos. Neutrinos do not affect solid matter as it passes through them, but when charged with fields of ions and then pass through gamma wave radiation emitted by the galactic centers, the resulting fusion of these particle elements creates the cosmic web that attaches itself to these gamma wave and ion particles, becoming both a tow line and a buoyant field that keeps the galactic bodies from becoming attracted to each other's stellar mass and avoiding collision unless they become too close to each other, where the gravitational mass exceeds the particle fusion's effect and collide despite the resistance of the cosmic web. However, the buoyancy of the cosmic web still resists collision, which is why when galaxies do collide, most times they do not collide but merge into a larger, more structured galactic formation, such as our galaxy has done quite a few times. These mergers take extreme amounts of time to finish occurring. Our galaxy alone is still merging with 4 or 5 different galaxies even now, and have been since close to the time of its first formation from a nebula cloud. Another factor I shall point out is that the cosmic web functions in principle to the same basic function the bands of the Milky Way do. The white bands of clouds that make up the arms of our galaxy actually are one of the deadliest qualities within the Milky Way. They are extremely dense regions of highly charged ion particles whose functions are designed to strip planetary and stellar objects of any raw material or organic life as well as any atmosphere, and breaks them down to be fed directly into the center of our galaxy's black hole. Think of it as a cosmic version of turpentine that strips any object within its clouds, and those stripped elements are then fed into the galactic center of the black hole. So the cosmic web is like the universal version of the Milky Way's bands, which means the direction we are irresistibly heading towards is a massive black hole that has formed at the center point of galactic rotation. Now that we have covered the cosmic-related subjects, let's tie them all together to explain what it is that causes both the Devil's Seas and the Bermuda Triangle. We have the technology to prove this now. The wormhole theory surrounding both events is correct, but it's the reason behind the wormhole's presence is what we can explain now and prove. To recap, the purpose of this web, as I said, is the centrifugal kinetic force that each massive galaxy's mass produces. That force is drawn upon by what we call the Great Attractor. Well, one of those bands that is attached to our galaxy runs right through our planet, causing the anomalies of both the Devil's Seas in Asia and the Bermuda Triangle in the Caribbean. The effects of this cosmic web cause an unstable pattern in the interwoven fabrics of the particle field within that region. A wormhole basically that draws us inevitably towards the center of the Great Attractor. I'm sure you can guess what that is. A supermassive black hole, the likes we have not seen yet, thankfully, because the day we do detect that center of mass with our satellites will probably be the same day we cease to exist, considering the calculated size of an object drawing in that many stellar objects would begin destabilizing our solid mass structures and planets within the range of our detecting it most likely. The wormhole's fragile structure is disturbed, of course, by radio wave frequencies, FRBs, and the magnetics produced by our compasses. The combination of the two causes a separation of the weak particle fields, causing whatever the object is to fall into the wormhole, which one guy is said to have witnessed and managed to make it back out. His instruments must have produced the right sequence of radio wave emissions and magnetic resonance that allowed him to exit the same way he entered. A miracle of God, honestly, and 1,000,000 to 1 odds. To prove this, all we have to do is use the system that detected the cosmic web in the first place and view the space surrounding the Earth. We will find the same barely detectable faint signature of the cosmic web running straight through the Caribbean and exiting through the South China Seas.
We now return control of your television set to you. Until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to the outer limits.